Oh, also, I can go back and edit out any kind of flub ups or anything else. So,
Thank God.
yeah. So,
Ooh,
yeah, if this was live, I'd be in trouble.
dude,
But
same. So would we. Yeah.
okay, all right. So, and here we go. Welcome back to Beyond the Compass, where travel and the paranormal meet at the crossroads. I am your host, Eric, and today we have some very special guests, two guests that have been making waves in the ghost hunting community. Lauren and Tais, the dynamic duo from the YouTube channel WTL. These two young ladies have investigated some of the most spine-chilling locations in the country, including the famous Whispers Estate, McPike Mansion, Joliet Prison, the Ashmore Estate, as well as the Indiana State Sanatorium. That was a crazy one.
Yes.
Now, Lauren and Tais are on a mission to change the narrative around paranormal research. As Lauren puts it, WTL is serious about their investigations, and they're here to challenge the idea that the paranormal world is all about darkness and fear. With their unique blend of research, creativity, and humor, and a few exciting challenges along the way, they're committed to building a community that celebrates the thrill of discovery and collaboration. In today's interview, we'll talk about their upcoming rebranding, the new methods they're using to interact with the spirit world, and how they're pushing the boundaries of paranormal investigations. Join us as we welcome Lauren and Tais from WTL.
Thank you.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, ladies. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. A little hectic. Appreciate your patience while I was getting
Of
things ready
course.
here at the studio. Total chaos over here. But let's start with the beginning of WTL. What inspired you both to dive into the paranormal field, and how's the channel evolved since you started?
It sounds a little stupid, but I feel like
Fame and money.
it all starts the same way. I think we started watching a bunch of paranormal shows, like, Ghost Adventures,
Obviously.
all that kind of stuff. When we were little, we were always really into it, and then we met in high school, and we realized that we both really liked it, and we were like, as a joke, why don't we just do it ourselves? Why not, right?
Go crazy.
Yeah, go crazy, go stupid. And then we did it, and it ended up being really fun, and we realized, like, we're actually really serious about it, and we want to make a difference, in it.
So it was kind of a calling for you. You found out.
Kinda, yeah. It started off as just like a little like shits and giggle kind of thing, like a hobby, and then it turned into like, oh wait, maybe we should actually do this seriously.
Awesome. Now, did either of you have like before you started the channel, before you started going out together, did either of you have like an individual experience with the paranormal in any way?
Yes.
I know I didn't.
No, but we
I
did.
Okay, but that was like together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've had individual experiences.
Yeah, I think my entire family just has something to do with the paranormal or like spiritual stuff. Every single person that I know has had some kind of experience. So in the apartment that I lived in Chicago, it had like a bunch of stuff happening. But other than that, we didn't really start getting stuff until we started investigating.
See, I can relate to both of you on that because I have 5 older sisters, and that's always happened. Well, I don't know about that, but the paranormal scene, ghost stuff, has always happened with them and my mom. And I actually, growing up, never really ran into it. Now I kind of run into it, obviously, more often because I have the channel, but I can relate to both of you, like, not me, but yeah, it's always these people over here, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
Now, women like Lorraine Warren, Katrina Weidman, and Amy Bruni have paved the way. They're really pioneers for women in the field of the paranormal. Do you see yourselves continuing that legacy in your own way? Do you feel that obligation?
I'm gonna be so real with you. I only know of Lorraine Warren. I don't know the other two. If we could do something like that, that would be insane.
That'd be so cool.
I don't feel like I ever see us in that kind of like big, huge light, but that would be sick. Yeah.
They're really to be admired in a lot of ways because they have, in such like majority of fields out there, it's such a male-dominated field.
Absolutely.
Face it, we're guys, we're pigs, we understand that. But for the women to go out there, and Lorraine Warren was such an integral part of their team. I mean, really, she talk about taking your work home with you. Oh my gosh.
Holy
Literally.
fuck.
Yeah.
Now, you've also talked about addressing the darker portrayal of paranormal research. What do you think leads so many investigators to focus on fear and negativity? And how do you hope to bring some balance to that field?
I feel like shows, like the ones that we see on TV, because they're always marketed, obviously, as like ghosts are scary and we're here in the dark and there's noises and there's demons and there's all this other stuff. But that's like not the case for a lot of these places.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the time on TV, I'm not gonna name any names, but
But we all know who you're talking about.
yeah, they leave and they're like, there's demons in the attic and I was possessed and I wanted to kill people and that's how I felt. And that's like, I feel like that's so little of the places that like, at least that we've been to, because ghosts at the end of the day, they are just people. Obviously there's other entities out there, but you try and focus on the people that are there, that were there at one point, and you want to talk to them and get their story.
Like, we've been to places that are negative, but it's never been to the point where it's like, every place we go to is demonic. That's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, when I see those videos on YouTube, you know, the giant ran into it, like every second video these guys put out, ran into a demon, encountered a demon. And I can tell you, I've read several books on exorcism. I've interviewed a gentleman who made a career out of it, worked with the Warrens with exorcisms. And I can tell you, if you ran into a demon that often, you wouldn't have the time or the mental space to do a YouTube channel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
and we understand that like people have to like play it up for YouTube and like make it a whole thing, but that's just not us. Like we're real, and it's not like places aren't demonic like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about your videos, and that's what I liked about them. We're like, hey, we're in this creepy place, or hey, this place is supposed to be haunted, you know, and it's very like, okay, check it out if you want to. It's not like, we fought demons, and here's our scars. I had a pentagram burnt into me. Check it out, you know. It's crazy.
Copy that. Write that down.
Okay. Now, when you are investigating, do you ever get the sense that the spirits are trying to communicate in a way that doesn't always align with traditional tools like the EVP recorders or the EMF meters?
Ooh. I feel like I don't think it's ever that they're trying to communicate in a different way. It's that they don't want to communicate at all.
True.
And we're finding different ways for them, but sometimes they just don't want to talk, and that's fine. That's cool. That's chill.
I think for me, a lot of it, I've had a lot of communication through dreams, funny enough. And like before we go to a location, sometimes I'll have a dream about the place and like I'll be told something and then we get there and it happens.
Ooh.
Other than that though, yeah, like she said, other ways of communicating is just like, they're just silent.
So way of communicating is shut the fuck up and leave.
That's interesting, the way you say that, Lauren, that you have a dream prior to, because there's a gentleman, his name is John Zaffis. He's actually Ed and Lorraine Warren's nephew. People know him as a haunted collector from a TV show and all this. Really interesting guy. But in his book, because he's been doing it so long, like 40-something years, he said, like, he always knows when a big case is coming up because he feels like a weird buzzing in the back behind his ear or little things happen around the house. Have you, now, Lauren, do you have any kind of like psychic ability or anything you care to nurture along those lines?
For some reason, people say that I do. I personally don't think that like she's one of them. I don't think that I do. I feel like everybody has some sort of ability, whether they know it or not. I just so happen to be from a family that's like very spiritual, and the dreams thing is like a me and my grandma kind of thing. Me and her both get dreams that tell us things before they actually happen. So when we go to places and I have a dream like, oh, it's giving me a bad vibe or watch out for this area of the house, and then something ends up happening in that area, I kind of now know what to look out for when I have the dreams, you know?
All right, so do you tell whoever goes with you, like Thais or anyone that goes with you, do you give them a heads up? Like, okay, this is one of those dream scenarios, so I should be okay, but I don't know about you guys.
You don't die.
They know already because they're well aware that I have them. So like the Davies house, for example, I had a really bad dream about the place, and then like the next day after I woke up, she ended up having something happen and we couldn't go. So it was like, you know, I now know what to look out for and I tell them beforehand. Yeah.
Wow, because if I went with you too, I'd be like, Lauren, do I make this one? I mean, you know, screw those other people. Do I?
I just don't know you.
Oh, that's hard. That's harsh. Now, as YouTubers, you know, you're not only investigators, but you're also content creators. So what's the hardest part of balancing those two worlds? You know, digging into the paranormal and producing content that resonates with your audience?
Literally everything.
Because we're not good at vlogging.
No.
Because we forget that we have to vlog.
Right.
And we don't like to do it in public like that. So it's hard.
Sometimes when we get into an investigation and it's going so well, sometimes we literally forget to record, or like we're recording the wall. We forget
Been there, done that, yeah.
the wall, and we're so focused on what's going on, and then it's like, oh shit, we have a video.
We didn't get it.
Right, and there's more that goes into our videos, and I think people realize, like the history, the thumbnail, getting pictures, and like the B-roll, all of that stuff, and then it's like we're there and we forget, and now we have to create a routine for ourselves, like we have to do this, this, and this before we investigate.
You know, and you always, at least for me, I always say, okay, I'm going to have my list together. So each time I can go by my list. And then when I'm there, I'm like, damn, I didn't make that list.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, along those lines of, you know, YouTube and content creation, ghost hunting on TikTok is huge right now. I'm actually in talks with a gentleman to arrange an interview with him. Like 90% of what he does online is all TikTok. It's a vertical video. Now, do you think streaming investigations live changes the energy of a location, or is it just another way to bring people into the experience?
We want to do lives because I do feel like if people are involved that way and like they're talking to us live, maybe telling us like questions to ask, I feel like it does change it, but we can't tell if it's for good or bad.
Yeah.
Like until you get home and you're going over the footage, in a sense.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, did it really help us? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to try it and just see.
Yeah. I haven't tried going live yet. I mean, I don't know. There's just so many. I think my biggest fear of going live is not so much not coming across anything. It's all the dead air, all the lag time. Like,
exactly.
You know, I'm so used to putting together a YouTube video, and I want, you know, everything from whether it's 15 or 20 minutes long. I want it interesting. I want something there to keep the viewer going.
Exactly.
And if there's just dead air and people are wondering what to say next, it's like, how is that entertaining? So I totally get where you're coming from.
People don't realize that there's like a lot more quiet and silence in actual investigating than there is like actual footage.
Right. Because we tell that to everyone who comes and wants to do a video with us. We're like, by the way, we could just not get anything at all.
Yeah.
Let's just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you see on TV, that's 43 minutes, 2.5 days of sitting there waiting for something, you know. And then a lot of it's unnerving because, you know, I'm 6'2", way over 200 pounds, but in a dark room by myself, I'm like, what's that? You know, and yeah, I am nobody's hero when it comes to that. So I assure you.
At least you're honest.
Right.
I try to be, you know, like that's my approach when I go, at least with my videos. I'm not out trying to prove anything, you know.
Exactly.
I saw Jack Osborne interviewed recently, and they asked him about that. And he's like, I'm not trying to prove anything. I just want to see what happens if I go there. You know, if I find something great, if it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't. And you're always going to have skeptics, you know, you're always going to have people like, oh, no, that's BS. That's just a given. But now, people these days are really into, and I'm on the fence about it myself, they're into not so much the spirit boxes, because I've used those before, but spirit boxes and Ouija boards. But some investigators think those are dangerous. What's your take on using tools like these during investigations? You know, necessary, risky, or fun?
Well, we've used a Ouija board at, what was it, Whispers?
Yeah.
We did it at Whispers. Personally, I don't, because people say that it's like you have to follow your intuition to move it, right? And I don't know if it's just maybe me, but like I got nothing from it and nothing happened afterwards. I mean, we like did everything that we were supposed to do with it. We opened it correctly, we closed it correctly.
That's the key right there.
Yeah. Nothing really came from it.
No, a spirit box is so important to us, though.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that being dangerous.
Me either.
But I feel like, I mean, people obviously see, we use it at every location, and we've actually gotten some of the best evidence from a spirit box. I just feel like it's such an easy way for spirits to communicate. I don't know if that's dangerous or not, but we do it anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Bridget Marcourt brought up a good point about that because she was hesitant about the Ouija boards, and someone told her, like, well, you use a spirit box. you're using two devices for the same thing. She's like, oh, okay, but I'm very on the like spirit boxes. I'm fine with. I've used them before, but I'm on the fence with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Mainly, okay. So while I don't really care for them, I still own two because they were gifts from my sister who knows they make me uneasy. So it made her very happy, and they're themed off my two of my favorite shows, Supernatural and Stranger Things. So, yeah, so they freak me out, but they're a gift from my sister, but they're really cool. So she, that's what big sisters are for, to terrorize her little brothers. But here's has always been my issue with the Ouija board. That you don't know that whatever you're communicating with was ever human to begin with.
True.
Yeah.
So that's a dangerous path to start on. And there's other methods you can use, flashlights and so on. But yeah, I'm glad it's there. It's not something it wouldn't be a go-to device for me either.
Yeah.
Not our favorite.
Now, along the lines of the Ouija board, again, growing trends on Instagram and TikTok is the haunted mirror. Do you believe that mirrors can be portals, to the spirit world? And would you conduct an investigation using one?
I think we did at the Davies house. There was a room upstairs with a lot of mirrors that a lady started a portal through. I'm not sure.
Oh, the witch, right?
Yeah. And so we had someone sit in a chair doing the S's and then had mirrors facing them. Did we get a lot of talking? Yes. So could that be related? Maybe. I don't really know how I feel about the whole mirrors being portals thing. I feel like I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And the flip side of the mirrors being the portal, we can go interdimensional on this because there's also a trending idea right now that ghosts may not be spirits of the dead, but interdimensional beings. What's your take on that theory?
God. There's so much to ghost and everything in between that's interdimensional that I wouldn't know what to really say about it. There could be what's his name? Chris Fleming?
Yeah.
He does a lot of stuff with what are they called? What are they called?
Oh, it's not, are they demons?
I don't think they're demons.
They're not demons, but
there's a word for it.
Yeah. They're other beings.
Yeah.
Not spirits, not demons.
Shadow people?
Not shadow people. I think it's
some type of nymph kind of thing like that. He says he sees them at locations sometimes.
Yeah.
Like a fairy almost?
Something of the sort. Yeah. Something like that. He says he sees them around at locations. So I don't know what he's seeing, but there's something, and it's not someone that died. So what is it then?
Right.
So, okay, so along the lines of going really old school with some certain paranormal investigations, there's been a lot of chatter about full moon investigations being more powerful. Do you think the lunar cycles affect paranormal activity, and have you noticed a difference, if at all, while investigating during a full moon?
You know what? We haven't. Actually, we have. The full moon thing, I feel like we should try out more, but we have noticed that certain weather has definitely impacted our investigation. So if it's raining a lot more, we get more activity. If it's hotter outside, if it's hotter outside, we get more activity. The colder and more dry it is, we for some reason get less.
It's so dead.
Yeah. So we've been trying to research that more because that has been a pattern on our channel for sure.
Maybe it has something to do with the energy, and the spirit world needs to see that energy, because that's happened to me when I was filming one video in Arizona. We were at a bridge, and the lady tour guide, she's like, "Oh, the top of the stairs right there is a good spot. A lot of stuff goes on there." I'm like, "Great," and I had 20% left on my camera. In the 30 seconds it took me to get to the top of the stairs, I was at 4 or 5%.
No way.
Whatever was up there. Because I made it to the point, because we've been filming all night, and I was checking my battery, so I'm 20%, cool, I got a couple minutes left on here, we can close up with this. I get to the top of the stairs, 30 seconds, and I'm it was 4 or 6%.
Wow.
Yeah, so it does happen.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, let's go. I'm gonna touch on a couple of like not kind of like out there concepts. Just want it real quick. Like the Mandela effect, where it's possible being caused by a parallel universe. Do you think the paranormal could be linked to alternate realities? And have you encountered anything that feels like, it came from somewhere else or just felt off to you in that sense?
Mm. I don't think I've encountered anything, but I do feel like if they're real, I do feel like everything's linked together for some reason.
I feel like they definitely could travel through.
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense to me.
Right.
For some reason.
I don't feel like it'd be like distinct areas. I feel like somehow everything kind of blends together.
Maybe the mirrors.
Right. You never know. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that would go hand in hand almost with what they call time slips, where people briefly experience the past or the future. Now you said you occasionally get dreams that let you know when something might be up with a place you're going to. I mean, has there been anything like in your waking world where like, wait a minute, something that like threw you off along those lines?
Like that related to dreams or
just like it felt different, like an increased sense of deja vu, like but more intense.
I have had deja vu at some locations, but I don't know if that's like relevant. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about what is it that you called it? Time slips?
Time slips. Where the idea of time slips where people briefly experience the past or the future. So you could even say it's like a time travel in a sense, but not an extended period. You're just like, whoa. I mean, there's a street in London. There's a street in London that they say that this happens on, where they've seen people like out of the past, dressed old century, mid-century. There's also the place I went to in Arizona, Lake Havasu. They actually brought an old bridge over from London to Lake Havasu, Arizona as a tourist thing. And when they opened it in the early 70s, whole town showed up, press, everything. And people were telling the guys who built the bridge and who sponsored the whole thing, they're like, we love that you have the Victorian era actors walking around. And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, the people wearing the Victorian era clothes walking around. They're like, we didn't hire any actors.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like it's such a good possibility though. Because again,
that happen at The Conjuring?
Yeah. At least people said it did.
Yeah, Conjuring. Wow. I mean, love the movies. Don't know if I'd actually go to their house. They got a little bit of controversy going on right now, but we won't get into all that. Like,
Right.
Looney Tunes, but I didn't say that. I didn't say that out loud.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't say that out loud, but now this is something I mentioned before we started recording, and you were like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "Okay, I just found out about it this morning." The Backrooms internet urban legend.
Yes.
And where people, from what I understand here, where people are trapped in a never-ending maze of empty spaces, and basically this legend is getting popularity. Do you think certain locations might actually be a portal or a trap like that? Or because you've gone to some really crazy places, some real out there sanatoriums. You've gone to some really like intense locations. Have you ever had that sense of if anything could happen, it would happen here?
All the time.
Yeah.
I feel like since the backrooms are so based on like liminal spaces and stuff like that, and where we go, it's like either these houses or sanatoriums or schools where everything just feels like stuck in the way that it was. And there's something so eerie about that. Like with Indiana State, I definitely feel like, probably because of the size as well, it felt like you could almost get lost. Yeah. Or you're stuck in there. But we've gotten out of all of them, so.
Yeah, there was a movie, actually, I can't think of the name of it offhand. It's actually a pretty decent movie, very straight to video, no big name actors, but it actually touched on that very subject. And the movie was funny because it was about a ghost hunting TV show. The participants go into this sanatorium and then they're
Is it
trapped
Gravy
in there.
Covers?
Yes, Grave Encounters.
Yes, I love that movie.
That movie is awesome. The sequel was horrible, but the movie was awesome. And I think the part that got me is the guy's lost and he ends up at the front door with the graffiti.
Yes.
That was so well done. I was really impressed with that part right there. But yeah, I couldn't think of anything. Thank you. That is such a good movie. And see, I'm a total movie buff, but I specialize in worthless movie trivia, the stuff no one cares about, because you have to specialize to stand out, you know?
Hey.
Okay, now, so as far as haunted objects go and things carrying energy, like, you know, it's really, you know, it's been popular. It seems like everybody's opening up a haunted museum these days, left and right. Because I'm here in Austin, and we've got like a couple opening up out here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I've been to the one. Actually, one of my more disturbing personal paranormal experiences was at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. The short version there, I was wearing these two religious bracelets, and my wrist started heating up. You know,
That's crazy.
yeah, the skin around them. Yeah, it was pretty wild, and nobody knew I was wearing these. I kept it very low key, and I wasn't even in the house, and I felt my skin heating up. It's like something in there didn't like the bracelets I was wearing. But you know, there's theories that dolls can be used as vessels for spirits. You know, there's a lot of historical data backing it up. And objects like the Dybbuk box. Have you encountered an object that you think carried some kind of paranormal energy, either positive or negative?
I have stuff, actually a lot of stuff in my house that belonged to people who have passed away in my family. And ironically, when we got the stuff from those people, stuff started happening. So I feel like attachments definitely can be a thing. And I guess I'll give him a shout out if we really have to. But our friend Dawson Toller.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. He had at one point this doll that he was trying to haunt and like test out and see if things can get attached. So I feel like it's definitely possible. But I think people, like, you see dolls and people are like, oh, these dolls are haunted. And I just don't know if that's necessarily accurate unless the person that had that object really did have a super strong attachment to that thing.
Now, there is a trend, and this is something I've got a plan for myself, because I'm all about the road trips myself. But people are creating paranormal road trips where they are visiting multiple haunted locations in one journey. If you could design a trip like this, where would your top 3 stops be? Okay, sky's the limit.
That's crazy.
You don't have to keep it to this country. Sky's the limit.
Oh,
where would you go?
Dracula's Castle.
Hell yeah. We want to go champing. We technically were gonna do it in Jericho, Wisconsin, but we want to do it in the UK because it's really big over there. Do you know what champing is?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, do you want to explain it?
So champing is this little thing they have. I don't know if it's just specifically in the UK, but we saw Sam and Colby do it.
Well, if they did it, hey, let's
Exactly. Where you camp out in a church. Champing.
But like you find like a super haunted church.
Right. Not just any church.
So we were gonna do it in Wisconsin, but it was too scary, so we ended up leaving.
There was a bad.
So,
And so that would be cool. Waverly Hill Sanatorium would be sick. I don't think it's still open, but Queen Mary would be awesome.
oh no, it's open.
Is it?
Yeah, they 2020, all the nonsense in 2020. We're not going to say the word that can't be said.
Yeah,
2020 and all that nonsense shut it down for a couple of years. But no, they've been back open for business and renting out that haunted room for about well over a year now. Yeah, so
that's a dream.
Vacation.
They're totally back in business. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so you'd go champing. That's my new word for the day. Waverly Hills and the Queen Mary. Okay.
Yeah. The Lisco? Ooh. The Lisco Axe Murder would be cool.
I like that. Island of the Dolls.
There's a lot of places.
Island of the Dolls. You're braver than me. I'll tell you that right now. Josh Gates did an episode on his old series, Destination Truth, there, and it was like freaking him out. And at one point, you see in the same camera, he's looking at a doll. The doll's like this close to his face, and one eye was open, the other was closed, and then the closed eye just opened while he's standing there. Yeah. And this is a dinky little island in the middle of a river. You know, there's something there. I mean, dolls freak me out anyway. But that's
do they?
Yeah, and that's not because of what I've been doing with the channel. It's like, again, my sisters. You know, they always had those creepy looking dolls, like 20 of them on the table displayed. I go in the room, I'm like, they're staring at me. They're gonna get them to follow me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I told you, like I used to work in a prison. I'll go back to work in a prison before I'm around those dolls.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's my statement.
Yeah. Again, they know it freaks me out, so they have them around me. So yeah, that's what big sisters are for, to torture the little brothers.
Absolutely.
Now, is there a piece of advice or a lesson from a past investigation that's really stuck with you and shaped the way you approach future investigations?
Ooh, that's such a good question.
Do not go in expecting anything.
Yeah.
You go in.
I like that.
Yeah, because everyone goes in and I feel like they amp it up so much and then they leave disappointed.
Yeah.
When either way, if you don't get to talk to anything, you at least tried to communicate with the paranormal world.
You see something historic.
Exactly. You're in a historic place. You can never say to a lot of people that you've been inside of an abandoned sanatorium.
Right.
You know? Like either way, you're getting a cool experience. So don't expect big things.
I agree. I would say mine is kind of going back to earlier, go in with it with an open mind and just remember that spirits were at one point people. Not everything's demonic, not everything is scary. You don't have to be freaked out the entire time. I can understand that it's scary.
Because we yell, we scream, we run.
Hey,
But
so do I.
Yeah. Go in
Okay.
with the intention to treat them like people because they at one point were. And the more respect you have, I feel like the better the communication goes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, and I'm sure you share my frustration when you see these people just for clicks and views going there screaming their head off.
Absolutely.
Or they're laying in a casket or they're laying on an autopsy table trying to get people like, there's a line you don't cross,
Yeah.
And I've already been to a couple of locations to where I'm like 90% sure I have an attachment from, and this was before I moved out to Austin. I flew out here, did a ghost tour at a local bar, and then found out in Arizona when I was talking to a couple of Navajo ghost hunters at a Paracon, I'm chatting with them, and their REM pod is sitting on their table. And once I started telling them about my stuff, the REM pod starts going off.
Eric,
And
that's
nobody
crazy.
was here. Yeah, and
Oh my God.
the Navajo guys, because I'm Native American too, because we're just talking about that. They looked at that, they looked at me, they looked at it again, and back at me. They're like, "That's not us. You have something with you, brother." I'm like,
Did you ever
"Wonderful."
figure out anything about it? Like,
I think I created a video because I did come to terms with it. Are you familiar with Patty Negri, the psychic medium?
yes. Yeah.
I've met her a couple times. Super nice lady. Total like Woodstock, Age of Aquarius kind of lady.
Yeah.
Absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
And I ran into her at a Las Vegas Paracon because she was working with a girl that I know that runs a paranormal podcast out of LA. And I just happened to bump into the girl I knew in Las Vegas, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm here with Patty Negri." I'm like, "No way."
That's crazy.
I started chatting with Patty Negri about it, and it's a whole thing. But I came to really good terms with it. She's like, if it was negative, because basically, I made a whole video about my spiritual attachment, the journey from Austin, Texas to Arizona when I found out about it to Nevada when I came to terms with it. But the short version there is the haunted bar. It was the spirit of a little girl and the guy that killed her, but they kept the opposite sides of the bar. And in the video, you see me kneeling down talking to the little girl.
Oh.
Well, the tour guide's husband was filming it also with an SLS camera, that maps out the 3D forms, the stick figures. Well, for the remainder of that night, after I talked to that little girl, you see a little tiny stick figure following me around.
Okay, so it's like a cute attachment. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
and I guess because her story touched me so much because, I don't have any kids, but I have like more than a dozen nieces and nephews.
Oh my God.
Big Mexican family. There's nieces and nephews everywhere. But because as an uncle, it just kind of touched me, and I'm like, that's why I wanted to tell her. And I told her, you see it in the video. I'm like, you don't have to stay here. You can go on and be with people you love. You don't have to stay
She
here.
trusted you.
Yeah, and that's what Patty Negri said. She's like, if it was dark and heavy, you'd feel it like, ugh. And I'm like, okay. So I put together, I'll send you a link to the video if you'd like. It shows the whole journey, like where I think it happened, when I found out, and when I talked to Patty Negri. The whole Patty Negri chat was hilarious. because I wanted to talk to her off camera, and she's like talking to the camera. She's like, "It's a secret. He doesn't want to share it with you." So she actually guilted me into it. I'm like, okay, here's what's going. Yeah, like I said, super nice lady. Get a chance to meet her. Now, when you're not out chasing ghosts and going into all these crazy places, risking life and limb, what do each of you like to do to unwind? You know, I imagine, like, for me, you know, I need a good reset after going to some of these really intense places with a really intense history. So what do you do to unwind?
Oh, we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of concerts.
That's the main one.
We like music. Actually, that's like the biggest thing we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're big on live music.
110%. Absolutely. So we like to do that as much as we can, and I feel like that helps us remember that there's still people alive and that we're not just talking to dead people all the time.
Right. We eat a lot of cookie skillets.
Oh, we love a good cookie skillet.
We're going after this.
Cookie skillet. That sounds good. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I got a couple now. So I threw in a couple of questions to ChatGPT. I just said, you know, let's go think outside the box. And when you ask ChatGPT to think outside the box, it goes way out there.
Yeah.
But a couple of them were like, if you were, say the situation was reversed and you were the spirits and a paranormal team came in to a location you were at, what do you see? What would you try to get across? What do you believe you would do? What do you think? Would you pull pranks? Would you try to communicate?
I think both. You gotta be kind of funny with it.
Right.
You know
There's no way I'm gonna be like a dead spirit and not have fun with it.
Right.
Like, I kind of would want to scare him, I guess.
Absolutely. But I think if I'm on the other side and I know people are there, depending on how I would pass away, I mean, pretending like if it was me right now, I would just want to talk about my life story and just get across, like, I love this person and tell them that I love them. Like, let people know that, like, over here is cool, you know,
Right.
like, we're good. I think that would be just that.
Because I feel like that's such a big confirmation to make, too.
Yeah.
That, like, we're not just gone and everything goes black.
Right. Yeah, there's just too much evidence otherwise.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I respect everyone's opinion. If you're a skeptic, and that's fine, you know. And I worked with other YouTubers, you know, who are nowhere near the paranormal, and they even told me ahead of time, like, look, I'm a total skeptic about this. I'm like, awesome, because the believers need the skeptics to balance them out.
100%.
Because if you have, you know, too many everything is, you know, that noise, you know, a mosquito was buzzing. Okay, it must be a demon mosquito, you know, if it's here. So yeah, I respect other people's viewpoints, but then when you see it get to the point of almost arrogance, you know, to me, it's like, okay, you're saying you don't believe because you're afraid to believe, or you know, you're worried that it may be, so you must mock it. So I'm just like, I get it, you know, it's a little outside your world, you know, but I just remember when I asked that question, the guys from BuzzFeed Unsolved, Shane and Ryan, they were on one investigation, and the ghost through the spirit box called them nerds.
I just saw that clip on TikTok last night.
That was
Dude,
hysterical.
it's so funny.
And we've been called stupid.
Losers, ugly.
We've been called stupid things.
I think I saw that one. I think I did see that one where they called you losers. I'm like, well, that's not nice.
They can get funny. They can get wild with it, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, and another out-of-the-box question from ChatGPT. Now, if you could conduct an investigation with any fictional paranormal investigator, either in novels or TV shows, movies, who would it be and why?
A fictional paranormal investigator?
Right, like either guys from Supernatural, X-Files, Night Stalker, or even a fictional character from literature. Is there any fictional character you would like to team up with?
The Supernatural, I never fully got into that show until recently, and those guys are cool. So that would be fun because they seem good at what they do.
Yeah, makes me want
a really smart guy from Criminal Minds.
Oh, there you go.
Because I would want him to like kind of test,
debunk
shit.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to understand how the equipment works. So maybe that I could understand it better. I feel like he'd really teach me a lot.
So you want to be a ghost profiler.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
That's a TV show waiting to happen. I can
Oh yeah.
Write that down. Write
ghost
that.
profiler. Yeah, make a note of that. Okay. Now let's see. We're gonna wrap it up here in just a second, but now you've hinted at rebranding WTL. You know,
Mm-hmm.
coming up with some creative twists. Is there anything you can share with us? Any kind of teasers about the direction you're taking with your channel?
Yeah. Pretty major one. We're gonna probably put it in our next video that we post in November. But so it won't be WTL anymore because our friend unfortunately is dropping out of the channel. So it'll probably just be Lauren Tais, but it'll still be the paranormal. We just want to get crazier with it.
Yeah.
We want to do stuff that people don't usually do in haunted locations, which I'm not going to tease that because we do have a video coming out on that. But
Awesome.
just crazier stuff. We want to go big with it. I think, like you said earlier, the field is so male dominated. So it would be cool to have women do something crazy and just try stuff that people have never seen. Show people that it's not like as dark.
You can
as-
have fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I actually know a couple of ladies in the paranormal field.
Mhm.
I could probably put you in touch with. I don't know if they're on.
Yes,
Yeah, you know, I mean, it would either require something maybe online or one or both of
Sure.
you traveling to the other location.
Hell yeah.
Word.
But yeah, in fact, during 2020, when all that other nonsense was going on and nobody could really go anywhere, I actually created a video. It was focused on female paranormal investigators, female YouTubers. I called it Ladies of the Paranormal, which looking back, maybe I could have used a different name for it. But, you know, hey, a lot of stuff was going on that year. So I'm still in contact with a lot of those women. If you go down to New Orleans, I have a vampire expert that you could make contact with. She's an absolute doll. Yeah, so I can give you some of those names after I send an email to you.
Please do. Yeah.
I could totally see that. Girl power. Okay.
Yes.
I am all about the girl power. Okay?
Yes, Eric.
Okay, so this has been so much fun. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest on my show. So
you.
where can our viewers find you online? What's the deets on Lauren Tais?
When you're seeing this video, we're still going to be known as Official WTO on YouTube, and our Instagram and TikTok are the exact same. After that, there might be a slight name change, but we'll still be.
You guys
in the
should
same
be
category.
following us by then, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, on all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
and yeah, and also for those of you watching this on YouTube, I will have links to all of their social media, their channel, website, all that stuff in the video description below. So you can click on so whenever you're watching this, you can click on to their social media and their channel and follow their investigations. So I guess this is where we wrap up. Thank you again for joining us. And also to the viewers out there, if you see anything behind me that catches your attention, it's in the off the wall section of the video description below us. There will be links there if you're interested. I just throw them up there. I try to throw something different in the background every week. Once again, ladies, Lauren, Tais, you two are awesome. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Beyond the Compass, where travelers and the paranormal meet at the crossroads. I'm Eric. See you soon.
That was so cool.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
sick.
you. I was so nervous. Let me stop the mic here. Where it's, okay, because I don't want to make a fool of myself here.